Rain drummed steadily on the slate roof as Lysander twisted the attic lamp higher. Shadows wove between boxes and dusty trunks, but what held his eyes was the loom, a hulking relic shrouded in a tapestry frayed with age. He'd found it by accident, dragged it out behind crates of grandmother's hats and brittle journals when he lost a childhood marble. It didn't belong among memories. It was the memory, carved from duskwood, grooves etched with silver glyphs, a heavy dent along the side as though someone had struck it in desperation. Lysander's hands trembled as he untangled old threads from the spindle. His own life in Willowmere had always been ordinary. The scent of river mint, the lilt of market bells, endless chores at dawn. But this loom pulsed with something ancient. He felt it hum beneath his fingertips. The kingdom's tapestries were spun with memories, preserved in the great hall for all to see. But this attic secret was different. It showed fractured glimpses, a lost birthday, his mother's laughter, storm-ravaged ruins from centuries ago. The tapestry on the loom was torn, unraveling into loose, silvery blue filaments. The moment he nudged the shuttle into place and tugged, letters burst across the air. "Help me find it." They crackled and faded, leaving Lysander wide-eyed, heart galloping. Had he done that? Or had the loom itself remembered something? Footsteps thudded beneath him. "Oi, Lys, Mama's calling!" "We're late for market," hissed a voice. Elric, his older brother. "I'm coming," Lysander shouted back, sweeping the remnants of thread into a pouch. Before he left, a moth the size of his palm fluttered from a beam. Its wings shimmered with strange rune patterns, and it regarded Lysander with a sideways look. "Careful with that loom, Braveheart. Not all threads should be pulled," it whispered, barely louder than the rain. Lysander stumbled down the ladder, but the attic's shadows clung to him, and a strange resolve took root. He had to fix the loom. He had to know what it remembered, before it remembered something best left forgotten. The next morning dawned with a smothered hush. A thick fog muffled Willowmere's laughter and the clang of the market bell. Lysander's mind spun just as frantically as the threads he'd touched. He leaned into the attic hatch, half dreading, half desperate to confirm that the night before had been real. The loom loomed, pun unavoidable, silent as ever, but his pouch was heavy with the silver-blue threads, shimmering oddly even in the gloom. By the window, the moth was waiting, wings folded primly, antennae twitching at attention. "You again?" Lysander breathed, too intrigued to be afraid. "Told you, careful, you twisted a dangerous knot last night." The moth's voice was crisp, sardonic. "Name's Tansy. You woke up something old." Lysander's gaze dropped to the thread. "A message asking me to find it." "What's it?" he demanded. Surprise flashed across the moth's jeweled eyes. "That, lad, is half the trouble. Every memory spun with the royal looms kept peace after the Forgotten War. This one's not supposed to unravel." Below, voices rose in alarm. "Did you hear? The council's posting wardens. Someone tampered with the city's tapestry last night. Half the Bloom Festival vanished from the hall." A street crier's shout pierced the fog. Tansy flared her wings. "That's how it begins. What you mended in this attic, Lysander, is coming undone down there." A splinter of fear, and something fainter, like hope, needled Lysander's heart. "I only want to fix it, not... I didn't mean for anyone to forget." From the attic's darkest corner, a hunched stranger stepped out, cloak stitched with 100 maps. His face was shielded by parchment, eyes smoky and intense. "You seek truth, don't you?" His voice was low, scattered like leaves. "I am Orin, mapmaker. The threads you restored led me here. If you wish to set things right, you'll need more than hope and a talking moth." Lysander set his jaw, defiance flickering in his small frame. "Then show me. Show me what the loom wants us to find." Outside, the world quivered on the edge of memory and forgetting with every beat of the loom above their heads. Orin's fingers, nimble and ink-stained, spread a battered chart across the attic's creaking floorboards. The map pulsed with iridescent veins, rivers and roads that shimmered and shifted like living memory. "Every land is shaped by the tapestry spun in the hall," Orin began, his eyes never leaving Lysander. "But your loom weaves from what was lost, forgotten, or erased. We must untangle what you restored before it unravels everything." Tansy circled above the map. "Start with the fallen veil. That's where the rip began." Lysander hesitated. "I've never left Willowmere, my mother, my brother. I can't just disappear." Orin's voice softened. "If this spreads, everyone you love will be changed or lost. Even their memories of you could vanish. This is bigger than fear. The attic shimmered as Lysander gripped the thread pouch. In his chest, courage and terror wrestled for ground. Then let's go. But if the loom's dangerous, why not just destroy it? Orin looked at Tansy, and something unspoken passed between them. Because memories fight to be remembered, even the ones that hurt us most. To destroy the loom is to doom the world to ignorance. The three slipped down the ladder, cloaks and wings brushing dusty beams. Orin led them from town at dawn's edge, along riverbanks where mist caught footprints before they vanished. The world beyond Willowmere was stranger and more fragile than Lysander imagined. Fields faded or blooming, depending on the strength of memory nearby. As the sun broke above Twisted Orchard Hills, Lysander saw it, the fallen vale. Once vibrant fields now lay in ruin, shadows flickering across forgotten ruins. The air stung with something sharp and sad. On a crumbling archway, red threads glimmered, spreading like roots, reaching for Lysander's pouch. He stepped forward, heart pounding as silence fell. Tansy perched on his shoulder. "Ready, Braveheart?" Lysander squared his shoulders. "Ready or not, someone's got to fix this." Orin nodded, and together they crossed into memory's remains, the map glowing with every step. The first test waited in the hollowed hush of the fallen vale, and Lysander could feel the pull of the past growing ever stronger. A bone-white tree towered over the heart of the fallen vale, its branches tangled with red threads, humming with echoes only Lysander could hear. The air shimmered, thick with old, unspoken sorrow. The closer the trio drew, the heavier Lysander's pouch felt, threads within tugging toward the tree's roots. Tansy fluttered ahead, her voice urgent. "Feel that memory? Like it's waiting for you? The vale's heart beats with something ancient. Don't let it catch you off guard." Orin's gaze darted along the map's wavering lines. Something's changed. The path ahead wasn't so twisted yesterday. The loom's effect is spreading. We need to move quickly. Lysander swallowed, knuckles white as he clutched the pouch. "What do I do? I've never fixed a memory before." "Trust yourself," Orin said quietly. "You wove the beginning. Now pull the right threads." Together they pressed into the vale's heart. Memories flickered. Children laughing in vanished gardens, armored soldiers marching silently, a queen with silver hair casting a final desperate spell. Suddenly vines writhed into their path, crimson and pulsing. The air split with a warped voice, hollow and rising from everywhere at once. "Who dares return what was forgotten?" Lysander staggered but did not fall back. He reached into the pouch, drawing a single gleaming thread. It burned cold in his fingers. "My name is Lysander, and I don't want to hurt anyone. I want to set things right," Orin whispered. "Speak to it, Lys. Memory lives on truth." Lysander closed his eyes and pictured the fragments he'd glimpsed. Laughter, war, peace, loss. "This pain isn't meant to rule us. Show me why this memory tore the world so I can help heal it." The tree shuddered, threads unraveling at his feet. A vision crashed over him. Fire and thunder, the kingdom tearing at its seams as old friends became enemies. He saw a tapestry ripped in two, locking sorrow beneath its threads. He gasped, staggering as the vision faded. The red roots shrank back, clearing a winding path through the veil. Orin steadied him, voice low. "It showed you what we're fighting for. Not just forgotten moments, but stolen truths. Are you ready, Lysander?" "I have to be," Lysander breathed and pressed forward, leaving the tree, but carrying a piece of its sorrow stitched quietly into his heart. The road out of the fallen vale wound through fields blurred at their edges, whole patches fading gray where memories had thinned. Lysander's stride was unsteady, every step heavier than the last. Still, he pressed on, river-wet wind stinging his eyes. Orin walked beside him in silence, knuckles white on his map case. Tansy circled overhead, trailing sparks of dust. "You did well, Braveheart," she called softly. "But the journey only gets stranger from here." Lysander's voice shook. "What if I can't handle it? I saw everything, the kingdom breaking. The queen, her tears, her anger. I felt it twist inside me." Orin's stare was sharp but kind. "Strength means moving through fear, not away from it. We fight so the world won't tear again. The loom chose you, Lys. Believe that." A crossroads loomed, forked by a moonlit stone carved with swirling runes. Orin traced a glowing path on his map. North, to the River of Echoes. Each crossing, a test, but we must be wary. Something's tracking us. As dusk crept in, Tansy darted down. See those shapes in the fields? Wraiths, memories too angry to settle. Don't look them in the eyes. Shadows moved along the path, swirling with old voices. Frozen friends, lost loves, mistakes relived as they drifted past. One wraith paused, eyes burning gold as it lunged for Lysander. He staggered, fighting panic. "Let go! I'm not your enemy!" The pouch thrummed. A blue thread wrapped around his wrist, shining with a forgotten lullaby. Lysander sang it, voice cracking, uncertain but true. The wraith paused, trembling, then faded with a sigh. Orin squeezed Lysander's shoulder. "You faced it, with memory, with mercy." They crossed the river of echoes by moonlight, Lysander weary but changed. He'd faced the pain and fought the shadow. There was strength in standing against things most feared. Ahead, the land rose toward the woven hills, where rumor claimed the queen's own tapestry had been hidden. As they climbed, hope flickered. Perhaps by piecing sorrow and truth together, Lysander could repair more than just a loom. He could mend the kingdom itself. The woven hills unfurled beneath a bruised morning sky, mounds where tapestries grew like wildflowers, half real and shivering in the wind. As Lysander, Orin, and Tansy climbed higher, carpets of glimmering thread tangled their boots and caught on Tansy's wings. All around them, voices hummed, some joyous, some weeping. Each tapestry was a memory come alive, flickering with scenes from ages past. Lysander paused as one swept open at his feet. A marketplace, whole and perfect, and there he was, playing hide-and-seek with Elric as a young boy. For a heartbeat, longing threatened to drag him inside. Tansy's wings flashed. "Don't lose yourself in them. You belong in the now." Reluctantly, Lysander broke away as Orin waved him over to a cave behind a waterfall of light. "The queen's tapestry is hidden here. We must recover a piece to repair the loom's damage. But beware. The guardian inside is no friend to truth-seekers." They ducked through the shimmering cascade. The cave pulsed with cold, golden light. At its heart, a tapestry 20 feet wide, shrouded in thorns. Before it, a monstrous weaver formed from broken threads, a guardian loom, hollow-eyed and endlessly spinning. Its voice echoed, metallic and mournful. Who wounds the tapestry with their presence? Who dares to mend what was condemned? Orin answered first, defiant yet respectful. "We seek not to harm, but to restore. Show us what was hidden. Let truth breathe." The guardian's eyes fixed on Lysander. "Have you the heart to carry both pain and hope?" Throat dry, Lysander nodded. "I have to. If we don't fix what's tearing, everything we love disappears." The guardian shivered, unraveling a single silver thread from the tapestry. Its thorns retreated just enough for Lysander to reach. As his fingers closed around the thread, memories raced through him. A vision of the queen, young and resolved, binding an ancient evil beneath the palace with her tears and song. "Carry this fragment," the guardian intoned, "but beware. Some truths will fight you even as you set them free." As the trio hurried from the cave, tapestry fragment glowing in Lysander's hand, Tansy whispered, "Well done, Braveheart. But now you've caught the attention of the oldest secret in the realm. There's no turning back." With new resolve, and the fragment burning like a promise, Lysander led his friends down the hill toward truth and toward the heart of the kingdom's greatest danger. The wind whipped cold as they descended from the woven hills into the whispering plains, a place where even sound seemed to fade. The sky hung low, threaded with restless storm clouds. Lysander fingered the queen's tapestry fragment through his pouch. Each new step set it thrumming, as if testing his courage. Orin led the way, map glowing faintly. "Not much further to the palace outskirts," he murmured. "But the map resists. Memories here are shifting fast. The loom's magic must be drawing the ancient evil closer." Lysander caught Tansy shooting nervous glances overhead, her wings dim. "What is it, Tansy?" she whispered. "See those swirling shapes? Guard echoes. Remnants of the old palace defense. Woken up since you took the queen's fragment. If we draw too much attention, they may try to erase us entirely." A chill crept along Lysander's spine. "Can we slip past them?" Orin's eyes narrowed. "We try. Stay close, and whatever haunts you, don't let it weaken your thread." They pressed forward, ducking behind twisted trees and faded fountains where memories drifted like fog. But as they reached a ruined gate, a guard echo materialized. Glinting armor, hollow eyes, its voice 1,000 years old. "Turn back. All truth is a wound." Lysander stood his ground, voice trembling but stubborn. "No. The tapestry was torn once and it crippled the kingdom. We're here to repair it, even the painful parts." The echo's sword hovered inches from his heart. Moments ticked past. Then suddenly, the queen's thread blazed in Lysander's palm, casting light over memories that had long hidden in darkness. The echo staggered back, helmet tumbling to reveal nothing but swirling dust. With a long, rattling sigh, it faded. Oren clapped Lysander on the back. "Your courage shapes the magic now, lad. You stood for what matters." They entered the palace ruins, halls where tapestries once hung silent and proud, now singed and torn. At the center stood a great door sealed with a lock of shifting memory. Tansy landed on Lysander's shoulder, wings quivering. "Here it is, Braveheart. Beyond this door sleeps the memory you unleashed, the one the queen once bound. Are you ready?" Lysander drew a shaky breath, glancing at Oren and Tansy for strength. His fear was real, but so was the resolve burning inside him. "I have to be. For everyone who can't remember, and everyone who still dreams." Together they stepped into the shadows, where the kingdom's truest secret waited to awaken. The great door swung open, with a whisper like ancient silk tearing, revealing a chamber drenched in twilight. Threads of every color veined the air, tangled and pulsing in time with Lysander's heartbeat. At the center, a tear in reality itself hovered, a wound stitched loosely shut with glowing, fragile strands. Shadows coiled around it, wreathing as they sensed the intruders. Oren's map curled in his grip, the lines flickering wildly. This is it, the heart of the Forgotten War. Here the queen used her own memories to seal away the ancient evil. That tear is both the wound and the key. The room pressed in, heavy with thousands of half-heard voices. One deeper than the rest hummed from the tear. "Come closer, young weaver, you've touched my thread." Lysander recoiled, but Tansy steadied him. "He's testing you. Hold fast. Your hope is stronger than his forgetting." Swallowing fear, Lysander stepped to the edge, the queen's silver thread wrapped tight in his fist. The wound pulsed. Images slammed into his mind, a dark shape swallowing hope, the queen singing lullabies to dampen its hunger, people banishing their own memories to weaken the evil's grip. "I don't want to forget anymore," Lysander whispered, voice shaking. "I want the truth, even if it hurts." The shadow laughed, low and mocking. "Truth breeds sorrow. Give up your new memories, and I'll let you leave unscathed." Oren's voice was sharp. "Don't listen, Lysander. The memory of pain is what gives us courage. You proved it with every step." Tansy joined in, her tiny voice fierce. "If you give up now, the whole kingdom will sleep forever, lost in blankness." Lysander stared into the wound. His whole journey, every fear and every act of hope, pulsed through him. Slowly, boldly, he threaded the queen's fragment into the pattern at the wound's edge. Light sparked, a silver seam, fighting the shadow's advance. "Not all memories are safe," Lysander declared, voice growing. "But stopping the pain isn't worth losing who we are. I'll weave this memory together. I'll face what was hidden." The evil screeched, shadows writhing furiously. The wound shuddered wider, fighting against Lysander's will. The light dimmed, then he felt Oren's hand on his shoulder, Tansy's wings bright with defiance. Together, their strength fed the silver thread, holding the tear at bay. Outside, the storm broke over the palace, thunder echoing Lysander's struggle. But the battle wasn't over. The hardest choice was yet to come, and Lysander could feel the weight of the kingdom, and of all remembering and forgetting, hanging on the next weave. The silver seam bled light through the chamber, but the wound snarled and spasmed, fighting Lysander's hands. Memories thrashed in the currents, wars, births, visions of hope and despair, all battling for release or erasure. Every strand carried both pain and beauty. Oren braced Lysander as the shadows lunged at them, cold as empty graves. Tansy darted above the storm, her voice cutting through the chaos. "The evil's power comes from stolen memories. He feeds on forgetting." The shadow twisted, taking on the forms of everyone Lysander loved. His mother Elric, even Tansy and Oren. Each figure whispered, "End the pain, let us rest." Lysander faltered. The urge to forget, to lay down his sadness, beckoned. But inside he remembered the children's laughter in the valley, the lullaby that soothed a wraith, the courage it took to face the palace echoes. He clenched the queen's thread tighter, searching his friends' faces for their real eyes, not the shadow's trickery. "Don't let it win, Lys!" Tansy shouted, her shape flickering with light. Oren's hand gripped his sleeve, anchoring him to the now. He spoke, voice thin but gaining strength. "You can't feed on what I face. I choose to carry the hard memories because forgetting them means forgetting the good too. The chamber trembled. The evil, cornered, shrieked, "Then take it all! No one else has dared!" With a surge, it hurled every locked-away horror into Lysander's mind. Visions of the ancient war, the queen's sacrifice, every loss the world had tried to bury. Pain lanced through Lysander, dropping him to one knee. His soul teetered on the brink. He saw why the queen had chosen forgetting, how endless grief could shatter even the bravest song. But as the hurt pressed in, another thread pulsed. Hope. Hands, Orin's, Tansy's, and countless others grabbed invisible strands, holding Lysander together. The pain was real, but not bigger than compassion. Not bigger than friends, than truth, than memory. Summoning all his strength, Lysander reached trembling fingers toward the spinning wound and began to weave, pulling sorrow and joy, fear and love through the loom of his own heart. The pattern shone, jagged and bright. The shadow howled, shrinking back, forced to face its own defeat. Stormlight streamed across Lysander's face. He looked up, changed, older, but stronger. His own grief now woven into unbreakable resolve. The wound in the air began to narrow. The battle was nearly won, but as the evil weakened, it unleashed one final trick. It twisted, seeking to break the world with a last desperate surge, intent on dragging Lysander's mind with it, and fracturing the kingdom forever if he faltered now. The storm's howl became a roar, shaking the ruined palace as the ancient evil surged for one last strike. Shadows leapt from the wound, coiling around Lysander, dragging at his mind with voices both tender and cruel. The walls of memory fracturing threatened to spill sorrow over all of Willowmere and beyond, to drown the world in forgetfulness. Lysander's whole body trembled. For a heartbeat, he almost slipped, almost surrendered the burden that had made him who he was. But then something changed. 1,000 tiny lights hovered around him, memories of kindness, of small triumphs, a mother's embrace, Orin's gruff laughter, Tansy's fearless flight. Each memory, painful or sweet, added its shimmer to the threads in Lysander's hand. He drew on them, weaving the queen's fragment through the tear's edge, threading hope and grief, love and loss together into a new tapestry, a pattern of truth, stronger for every scar. Orin locked eyes with him, nodding fiercely. Tansy perched at his ear, wings buzzing like a battle drum. "You're not alone, Braveheart. We're part of the pattern, too." With a cry that rang through every layer of the chamber and every soul in the kingdom, Lysander wove the last thread. The wound shrieked, shadows splintering as golden light flooded the room. The evil's form buckled, unraveling into motes of memory, neither destroyed nor forgotten, but cleansed, their story finally told. The palace calmed, dust gently settling. Outside, sunlight bathed the twisted spires, and the awful fog finally lifted. The tapestries across Willowmere bloomed anew, bright and complete, stitched with both light and darkness, sorrow and joy. Lysander nearly collapsed with exhaustion, but Orin caught him, steady and warm. "You did it, not by banishing pain, but by accepting it, by believing in memory's power to heal." Tansy did a wobbly aerial loop, grinning. "I knew you had it in you, Braveheart." Humanity's stubborn heart always rewrites the ending. As they returned to the attic where it all began, Lysander placed the loom back in its hiding spot, now strong and whole, a keeper of truth, not just a maker of magic. Willowmere thrived, older and wiser, and rumors of a young loom mender began to spread. With every new dawn, Lysander glimpsed the world more clearly, not as a series of sorrows to fear or of joys to cling to, but as a tapestry where every thread, lost or found, belonged. For some wounds, he learned, could never be fully healed. But by choosing to remember, by refusing to forget even the painful parts, Lysander had woven a stronger, more hopeful world. And as he watched the morning sun catch on silver-blue thread for the first time, he understood. Some threads once pulled could never and should never be undone.